Hey, Scott, ROCKFILE back with another podcast review. Going to talk about the 1998 film Pi in its more recent 4K edition. We don't get very many game-changer, low-budget movies these days. These low-budget movies that start at little art houses and then catch fire and get wide releases and home video releases. That's what happened to Pi. Young director named Darren Aronofsky made it. He would go on to make Requiem for a Dream and a whole bunch of other movies and become one of my favorite filmmakers, but I knew what he was doing with this first one. It blew my mind. I was very much already into art films, foreign films, that kind of thing, and people were talking about Pi in 1998. I think I was just getting ready to move to Chattanooga, Tennessee. I bought the movie on DVD, which was the only way to get it until recently. It was filmed in black and white, 16 millimeter, silver nitrate, grainy. The movie made me feel paranoia like I've never felt in a film before. It's about a mathematician named Max Cohen who starts finding more in pi than most mathematicians have, and he thinks it could change humanity. And he starts getting chased by people, the government and secret agents and Jewish agents, and it gets into some pretty weird stuff. But I remember the first time I watched the film, I just felt claustrophobic, paranoid, just the way it was filmed. It's this grainy black and white. It's a lot of shots of him, and he's trying to get this sound out of his head, and he's kind of the tortured genius, and some plot twists happen with some of the characters, and he's chased through the streets. And I just remember it being it's just kind of more of a feeling of the film. Not that I love the storyline, because I do like the kind of, conspiracy theory type stuff. But overall, I just thought it was a movie that made me feel a certain way. Now, watching it years later, A24 last year for its anniversary, its 25th anniversary, commissioned a new restoration, restored it in 8K. This is grainy 16 millimeter film restored in 8K. They added a Dolby Atmos soundtrack to it and brought Clint Mansell's incredible score into modern times. It fills the room. It fills your head. It's wow. And so there's a few extras on it. The 4K is available from the A24 shop, which I would highly recommend. It's not too pricey. It's a nice package. It looks and sounds better than the movie ever should have. I mean, this movie was literally made for $120,000. $60,000 went to the actors and the filming locations, another $60,000 on promotion, getting the film back in the day when you had to actually get things developed. It turned out it was more expensive than they planned for. There is some interesting making of stuff that was available on the original DVD, but this is a movie that's always kind of been shrouded in mystery because, well, they filmed it on the fly. It's guerrilla filmmaking at its best. It was made for a minuscule budget, and it went on to make over $3 million. And now, obviously, Darren Aronofsky is a pretty well-known director. So this new 4K edition, best the movie's ever looked and sounded. It really looks like a modern film, with the caveat that, it is very grainy, but that's part of the charm of it. You're like black and white and 4K with HDR. Yeah. Blacks were not crushed other than, how it was filmed, the intention. This is one of those films that just comes across a certain way. They made it specifically to look and feel like it does, and it generates this feeling of unease throughout its runtime. You were in the plight of Max as he runs away from people who seem to know more about this number and all these digits. And the clues it's like an old 70s movie, like Blowout or something, where the things just kind of pile up and these conveniences and all that. But it leads to believe that maybe he has discovered something. Now, of all of Darren Aronofsky's movies, because they're all kind of dark, Black Swan, they all have, pretty twisted endings or whatever, The Wrestler, The Whale. This has almost a positive ending. It really does kind of end with him getting relief from all of this. Not to give anything away. You'll have to take the journey if you never have. If it's a movie you've always heard of and you've never had a chance to see it, then this is the edition to get. Like I said, I've kept my old DVD all of these years because I never thought it would get another release. It was just one of those low-budget films that came out in like 1998, 1999, and critics talked about it and everybody got a copy, and then it was gone and nobody talks about it now, and it's that rare first movie from a big director. Well, Thanks to A24 and their shop, they have restored it and released it like it was. It was released in IMAX theaters last year. It's quite the experience. Still, 25 years later, Pi carries a punch, but all of Darren Aronofsky's films do. This is the first one. This was the beginning of a career, and as such, it's pretty amazing. I just reviewed the low-budget early movies from young directors, a movie called Gaia, another one called Older Gods. Both of those were well done, but they have to give, props to Darren Aronofsky. He topped them all in 1998 with this incredibly micro-budgeted paranoia thriller. Check out Pi. It's available on streaming services, and I would highly recommend it if you've never seen it. And if you're a collector, then pick up the A24 edition in 4K HDR with Dolby Atmos. It is quite spectacular, more than you expect for a grainy black and white hour and 24-minute movie. Really enjoyed it. Really thrilled with my purchases from the A24 shop so far. As a collector, it's another boutique label you can put on your list and go, they do quality stuff. And so I thank them for that. I can't wait to pick up a couple more things and review them for you. Pi is available now on streaming services and hard copies from the A24 shop. Check it out to see how Darren Aronofsky began. It's a really great flick. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. Have a spectacular day. Thanks for listening.